Oklahoma. I hold the title of Minister Emeritus now, and I'm just glad to be here with you this morning. There is no musical accompaniment planned for today, it's just me talking. Now, I need to warn you about something. I got really inspired last night and started working on my message. I have lots of cards, so we could go a little long today. If it seems to be going too long, I'm going to put a meditation like right in the middle of things. I tried to go through my cards this morning and decide what I could throw out, and I didn't want to throw anything out. I want to talk about everything. My title today is An Order to Go. I still feel compelled to come up with a title for the messages, even though mostly we're having it's a one-sided conversation anymore, for me anyway. But in order to go, I'm working my way through Charles Fillmore's um, 12 Powers this year, in as I guest speak. I don't. Y'all are going through some changes, and I don't know if we'll finish this, and that's fine. If I ever get invited back, I'll just have one ready, and we'll continue. I love you guys, and I love spending time with you when I can. We're working our way through Charles Fillmore's 12 Powers. The Faculty of Order is the topic of the day, and there's different ways that we have order, and that order shows up for us in our lives. But basically, the way I've come to understand our experience now, I'm talking about the human consciousness, is that we have real life going on, and we translate that through a lens, if you will, through a lens of symbolism. So everything takes on symbolic meaning. Somebody looks at you a little funny and it can take on symbolic meaning. Somebody says something you don't understand, but it sounds this way and not that way. It's the symbolism that gets to us, not real life. Much of the time, most of the time, it's the best we can do, especially in conversation. Raylene and I, my wife, Raylene's not here today, so I get to talk about her a lot. Um, um, Sometimes she likes that, and sometimes she doesn't like it as much, but she's not here today. We've moved twice in the last 3 months. We needed our apartment here wasn't ready, and so we moved into a temporary place downtown, a really nice high rise, for 2 months, and we lived there while they were getting this one ready. And toward the end of our stay there, the weather changed, and we got just a really heavy rain. And while it was raining, we were just kind of working around, and Raylene said, David, there's something rattling. Will you track down that rattling sound? What is it that's rattling? And to her, it sounded like an appliance rattling. Well, it took me a minute because I didn't even hear the rattling. Now I had to pay attention to it. At that building, there's a little area in front of the entryway where they used sheet metal as the roof. They used the sheet metal as covering, and uh, and that's what she heard hitting that sheet metal. The reason I didn't hear it is that's what rain sounds like to me. I grew up in the country, and it was a small town, so we were kind of all close together, but people had chickens and goats, and there were cows in town. We had horses that stayed just a half a block away from us. Everything had sheet metal. That's what rain sounds like to me. And that's not what rain sounds like to Raylene, because she didn't grow up in that way. Our brains are ordered differently, although we're both hearing the same things, and we're in the same reality. It's the order of our brain, and I'm not explaining that very well. We use the term consciousness in Unity, and that sounds so woo that that it can be deceptive. But it's basically our brains. I ran across an article this week that I'm still working on. I didn't have um, I didn't have time to work it through so I could work it in really to this message. But the title was very simple. It says introspection is an illusion of the brain. Introspection is an illusion of the brain. And it makes sense because everything that we experience is filtered through our brain and goes through that. But even when we're trying to examine our own consciousness, it's limited by the order we've established um, uh, um, uh, the normal way of being that we've established for ourselves. Raylene and I, our brains are ordered differently. We see that all the time. We moved in here, and because I had packed up the kitchen in the other place, I unpacked the kitchen here in our new place. And I went to Raylene and I said, "Do you want to have some input on what goes where? You want to talk about that?" And she said, "No, just put it away. I'll fix it later." I'll fix it later. Yeah, that's that's not my idea of order. She doesn't change much. She changed one thing because she needed it. Um, when we when we developed the faculty of order, as Fillmore was working with it, it was all about the individual order. It's not about how to work with groups to create order. There's a little bit of that in there because it follows the stories, but for an individual, we need to be able to uh, develop our own sense of internal order, and it has to do with normal. It has to do with sometimes it has to do with control. Order does, especially with groups. Um, Raylene and I have different ideas about order in a household and what looks orderly and what is orderly. And she's usually right, and I'm usually not. She uses a phrase, "Were you raised in a barn?" And she's used that phrase with me more than one time. Were you raised in a barn? And the answer is no, I wasn't raised in a barn. I was raised barn adjacent. It was very, it's very close. We just have different ideas of what order means. Order is not the same as control, but sometimes that's what we're talking about. If I'm using meditation and introspection to reorder my consciousness, to reorder my brain, I'm trying to change something. And if that means I'm trying to control my brain, that's really what I'm trying to do. Unity has used the tool of affirmation to develop order in the brain. I am a confident, sensitive, patient, gentle man. I am a confident, sensitive, patient, gentle man. I used that for years just to change, not to change anything except to place an order, to reorder things in my mind. In politics, uh, uh, what we do in society. I'm talking about groups right now. Order in groups is so elusive. In politics, we have an order of things. There's an order of how things go, how the voting is done, how the things are counted, the electoral college, everything, and yet politics is the most disorderly uh, uh, um, um, practice that we have. And I hold an opinion that we need the disorder as much as we need the order. Yes, we need to have things in order, but life doesn't stay still. Life moves. And if life is going to change, and if we don't reorder things, life will reorder things for us. If we don't reorder things, life will reorder things for us. And that happens in groups, that happens as individuals too. Groups create order in different ways, sometimes by agreement, sometimes by assent, Sometimes it's done through force and it's done through fear. You look through history and you see all the ways that order has been created, and yet there's always disorder. Now, there's good news and bad news about order in a group. The good news is you're always in a group. We humans are social animals. Whether it's our, even if our group is just me and my doctor, that's a group. If it's just me and my wife and my dog, that's a group. We're always in a group, and yet we're never the group. There's no group that's 100% for me. Raylene and I have different ideas about life. We have different ideas about things. That's enriching. We're not 100% in order with one another, and it's not. It's that way. I would hold it as that way in every group. We group people together in our individual consciousness. We use the faculty of order to group people together. Um, this is the well, you know how men are, and you know how women are, and those people who live over there, they're like this, and those people who live out there, they're like this, and we group life together. We group all of the universe together, from the largest multiverse concept down to the quarks. These are ideas, but they help us order our universe. Sometimes, though, we group people together that have nothing in common. And I've seen that, and I actually had that done to me in my youth. So I have a brother. My brother's name is Warren. He's 2 years younger than I am, and my mother made a practice of treating us like we were twins, as if we were the same age, which was very hard on me. But that's not what this is about. My name was Davy, and his name was Warren. So she was constantly using the phrase Davy and Warren this and Davy and Warren that. But a couple of times I heard her talking to people and ascribing things to Davian Warren. Say it as one word, Davian Warren, ascribing things as belonging to Davian Warren that applied to neither Davy nor Warren. Davy and Warren do this, or Davy and Warren like that. And it was just social. She didn't go around just lying to people. But I'm 6 years old, and 6 year old is literal in a way that'll only grow until he's about 10, and then it just gets horrible in terms of literalism. And she said Davy and Warren like this, and neither Davy nor Warren did. That's not a fault of my mom. That's something that we all do, or that I say we all do. That's a habit I have of guessing that everybody does that, and that's not necessarily true. It's something that I do and that I observe in other people as well. We create order. We ideate order, if you will. We bring it into being through stories, through the symbolism of stories. The story goes to the reader, and um, excuse me, we create the order through the stories, the symbolism of the stories. And through the stories, we can see that there's orderly ways of being and disorderly ways of being. There's no drama in a story without disorder. There's an order and disorder. And if you watch your movies, you're going to see that what's in order, and then something goes wrong. Something creates disorder. We have ideas that it's really that simple because it shows up in our stories that way. That there's really a normal and an abnormal. No, if it exists in this world, it's normal. But we still have to do that. Right and wrong comes out of that orderly versus disorderly concept. Good and evil out of that same. And life, there's nothing in life that is pure good or pure evil. It's just life. There's nothing that's right or wrong. Nothing can be wrong in the world if it's the way it is. It is as it is. And this is what we have to work with. Our stories show us how to work through the disorder to get back to a state of order. Very much through the stories. Also, we develop a common language, um, um, and a common language, a common ideas that come through our stories. And we come into agreements that we don't even know we've come to because they just belong to us. There are numbers that come up in order and they help us order things. We use numbers, we use the alphabet to help us order things. But look at what we do with our stories. The 7 days of creation, for example, the number seven. I'm just going to talk about the number seven. 7 days of creation. That unity then has interpreted into the 7 steps of creating, of creation, creating for ourselves. There in story form, there's of course 7 dwarfs, and Hinduism has a story of 7 horses that pull the sun god across the sky. In the Gnostic Christian experience, there are seven. There were there's a belief in 7 planetary spheres, and these 7 planetary spheres are our stages through life. And of course, the highest one is seventh heaven. That's where that saying comes from. We use words, phrases all the time that denote beliefs that maybe we don't even hold. That's what seventh heaven refers to. The number 10 is important to humans, probably because we have 10 fingers. But everything from the Ten Commandments to the 10 Little Indians was a song that I had when I was when I was a kid. I doubt they sing that song. I hope they don't sing that song anymore. We count things and measure things in life by the top 10. We rate sports as a 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. Our Bill of Rights, the first time we were going to change our Constitution to include some protections that were important. Our ancestors there were 11 or 12 in your consideration, and there was just a unanimity, though. We need to hold it to 10. It's got to be 10. And that's because the number 10 is so meaningful to humans. You don't hear the number 6 in the same way you hear number 7 in our conversation, in our stories, in our history. You don't hear the number 9 as often as you hear the number 10. The number 10 has meaning. What has meaning for us will help us develop that order across our full consciousness, across our mental and emotional state that becomes our normal. It becomes order, if you will. I like the number 12. The number 12 shows up a lot for us, for human beings. Of course, in the Bible, there's the 12 tribes and the 12 disciples. We live our life by the 12 months. And in the Greek tradition, there were 12 Olympians. In the Norse tradition, there were 12 gods, 12 major gods, 12 primary gods in Asgard. In Islam, there's a veneration of the 12 imams. King Arthur had a table. There were 12 seats around the table, and it was as if the table had magic to it. That because there were 12, and because they were equally seated, there was something magic that came through. Well, somebody who really loved that legend was Heinrich Himmler in Nazi Germany. He set up a table with 12 people just because he thought it would be magic to bring everybody together, and everybody had to cooperate with him and waste their time just so they could be around Heinrich Himmler's table. And of course, if Curtis were with us today, I'd make special note of the play 12 Angry Men. We use 12 for our juries, don't we? We don't use 11, we don't use 13. Those numbers have no meaning, but 12, has meaning. Oh, but the number three helps us order everything. Um, Think of the 3 crosses, of course, and the 3 days that Jesus spent in the grave, or 3 days that Jonah spent in the whale. Of course, in our stories, there's 3 bears. Of course, the three billy goats gruff and three little pigs. There's three blind mice and there's three wishes if you're going to see Aladdin. There's three guesses for Rumpelstiltskin's name. And there's three musketeers. And we even came up with the three amigos. These stories help us order our world in ways that we don't understand until we understand what's happening with kids. We go through childhood. These stories help us order our world. The the story, the three little pigs. The child is going through counting and learning to count, and the child is also seeing compare and contrast different kinds of structures that are built and different ways of responding to a threat. And it looks like it's just a simple little story, but it starts to order things for a child so that the child can survive in culture and thrive in the culture
Mhm.
and co-create a life. When I was a child, when I was a child, I had to be in Sunday school. I was a Southern Baptist preacher's kid, and I was uh, and we were taught the same stories over and over and over. And one of the stories that we were taught over and over was about the three guys named Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Now,
Oh,
if you didn't grow up in the Christian church, you may not have, or in a Hebrew church, you may not know, may not understand, or have heard of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But we had to study Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They got, they would rather die than say, I don't believe in God. Essentially, it's a little bit it's done more poetically than that, but they were teaching us kids. They were giving us the example of being so rigid, being so engaged in the belief system that you would die or you would be killed. You would let other people be killed, rather than make that statement. And I reflect on that in Sunday school, but it was always more significant. It was very significant because there were three: Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Those three make it more meaningful for human beings.
make what more meaningful?
Our development of our faculty of order in consciousness is evolutionary.
Yeah, this
It
is
helps us.
wrong in
It,
children,
it,
but
it, it's
but the way
it's
they
developed.
Mhm.
Animals have it. Chimps use uh, the the faculty of order to plan and carry out a war. They actually, there's a group that's making. I've seen several headlines on it. But there's a group, I believe it's in Tanzania right now, that has divided into two groups, which is very normal for any primate. Primates do that. They split into groups, and we humans are no different. Once we get to about 50, we're already a split group, even if we're technically in the same room. Well, chimps go to war over resources, over territory. They steal each other's babies, which was a practice of the old hunter gatherers. They live the life that's in order or out of order in just the same that we do. My little dog understands order because she knows what's next. If I feed her, what's next is a walk. If I put on my clothes, what's next is us going outside. And she reminds me what's next. And she tries to push Raylene and I to hurry up and go to bed. Because after dinner, the next thing is bed, but there may be a couple of hours in between. She doesn't like those couple of hours. We did the eating. Now let's go to bed. Everything has to be in order for the little dog. Your faculty of order is also your faculty of disorder. In other words, the same synapses, the same ideas. I've used when I talk about synapses, let me repeat something I said a long time ago. It's a story I use. I imagine a baby, it's a newborn, just laying in its crib. Its young brain is functional. It's not going to be developed for another, fully developed for almost another 30 years, but it's going to be growing. And as it grows and as it develops, it doesn't wait till it's fully developed to learn. It starts when it has the basic beginnings. But it's laying in a crib and there's toys dangling above its head, and the baby sees those and it's just kind of doing what its baby thing, and then it grabs one of those rings. There's an emotional response, a joy or a surprise or something. Emotional response releases chemicals, which then sends a spark shooting, if you will, through several neurons. Several neurons connect together. They just connect. It just it's not much. And this is the software for grab. 40 years later, this human being may pick up a briefcase or pick up a tool bag, and it's using that same part, those same neurons. It's using that same set of neurons, that same bit of software for grab, because it's a permanent part of the human being's consciousness. Well, for me, that those neurons might be up here, but for you, they might be here, or for somebody else, they might be here. There's no right way and wrong way for the brain to develop that way. And yet we all develop the faculty of order. And it can happen on either side, and we order our world through language. The way we speak, the way we talk about our life, the way we talk about ourselves helps us order our world. It can also create um, dissonance. So dissonance is the world is out there is this way, but in my head it's got to be this way, and that's not going to help me if I have to go out in the world. It's not going to help me get around and do much. Entropy is an aspect of science that to me affects the faculty of order. The sun and planets are our solar system functions in order, and it looks like everything is just running right along the way it should. But entropy is taking place. The moon is moving farther and farther from the Earth, and eventually the moon would leave orbit, and we would have no moon. Except that before that happens, our sun is gonna expand and destroy everything anyway. It's the faculty of order and the faculty of disorder. We need them both in not necessarily equal measure, but we do need them both. When life is not the way we want it, let's say life is not perfect, life is not ideal, there's something out of order, then we can take the steps to get things in order. But if things never get out of order, what's the point? Why, if life never got out of order, we'd have nothing to do much of the time. We need the disorder as much as we need the order, and yet our work is always to put things back in order as we can. For me, order in the groups has to do with things like equality and even-handedness and openness and other such things. That's not true for everybody. If it were true for everybody, we would put that in order, and it would just be great. But we have to go through our processes. We create order through the power of our word, and that order is the way our personal sense of order, our faculty of order helps us gauge the world and how the world is doing. And it also gauging the world helps us develop the order, the faculty of order, so that we can stay engaged with life. We create through the power of the word. In the beginning was the Word, is from the book of John, and there was nothing like that in Matthew, Mark, or Luke. There was nothing like that, and that phrase, "In the beginning was the Word," that's Plato. and Socrates. That's Greek culture that has grown since the time the first book was written, Mark, until John was written, 100 to 150 years later. And so what they did is they put Plato and Socrates front and center. In the beginning was the Word, and then they added the Christian beliefs, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. The rest of it. If we're religious, then that takes on a religious meaning for us. In the beginning was the Word. But if we're not religious, in the beginning was the Word still has deep personal meaning. This is how we create our life, is through ideating. We can have a vague idea of something, but until we write it down or tell someone, we may not even understand how to order it ourselves. Language helps us order our lives. The power of the Word helps us order our lives. I thought I was going to go way late, and I don't think I have. I'm so glad. I've gone through all of my cards. We're going to take a moment now for meditation. I want to invite you to take a moment for meditation, and at the end, I just want to let Victoria know I forgot about her at the beginning, but we're gonna have her here in a few minutes. All right, Kamai, would you start that meditation for us? This is a video meditation that's been prepared for us. It's former Minister Lori Johnson.
Take a moment to find a comfortable position, whether you're sitting in a chair, lying down, or wherever you feel supported. Allow your eyes to gently close, or soften your gaze if that feels better. Take a deep breath in and slowly let it go. Again, a deep inhale and a gentle exhale. Let your body begin to soften. Let your mind settle. Let yourself arrive fully here, just as you are. Now bring your awareness to your heart space. Notice whatever is present. Maybe you feel warmth, stillness, tension, openness, and just observe without judgment. And now silently or aloud, repeat these words. I am open to the sacred in whatever form it comes. I am open to the sacred in whatever form it comes. And just take a moment to breathe into that intention. There is no need for labels, no need for explanations, just spirit, just presence. Imagine yourself walking on a path. It may be a forest trail, a winding coastline, or a quiet road. There's no map, no destination, only your steps and your breath. And also recognize that something greater is walking beside you. This is your spiritual journey. Personal, evolving, deeply your own. You may not belong to a religion, but you belong to wonder, to mystery, and to love. You're not alone. There are others too, walking and seeking, questioning and listening. You're walking together, even when the path feels solitary. Let yourself rest in that truth. You're already on the path. You are the path. And I'll bring to mind something that feels sacred to you today. It might be a moment of stillness, a sound in nature, a relationship, or simply this breath. Hold that in your heart. And as we come to the end of this meditation, bring your consciousness back into this space, into your body, and gently return your awareness to your breath. Take one more deep breath in, and a full breath completely out. And when it feels right to you, you can open your eyes. Carry this sense of spaciousness with you as you continue walking your path with openness, courage, and grace.
Thank you, Lori. I'm aware that that we began this morning without our prayer for protection. I want you to know we'll use that at the end before our closing song. We'll use that as our benediction. Um, at this time, I just want to remind you that remind you to support your church, to support this group. There are links on the webpage, the links on the Facebook page, links on YouTube. Take a look at those and consider supporting this group. If you're not a part of it, consider part. If you're not a part of the group that gathers on on Zoom, consider doing that. If you watch this through YouTube, are just so glad that you do. Consider supporting this group. Victoria, do you have some announcements for us, please?
There she is.
Yes, I posted in the chat the information that I'm giving you for announcements today. And that major announcement is that our sandwich making Saturday, which is normally the first Saturday in the month, in June is going to be, in fact, the second Saturday, which is June 13th. Same time, same place, just different day. It'll be June 13th. And I hope as many people as can come because we sure have a swell time. If you follow on Facebook, you'll see that there are postings about that. Quite frankly, I don't do those postings. Our friend Stanley does those postings, and they show us in action. And it's obvious that we're very busy bees, and we have a great time doing it. That's our monthly Unity outreach program that we do to try to help, just even in a small way, the homeless of our city in Tacoma. And we are currently working with the Kingfisher Tiny Village. And we are supporting them with our 100 sack lunches each month, along with donations of clothing and personal items. And they also allow people to come in there with their pets so that they don't have to give up their pets. So we also are providing donations of cat and dog food and supplies. So June 13th is our next sandwich making Saturday, and I hope to see you all there. Have a great week.
Thank you so much, Victoria. I've have rethought some things. Normally, very often we close with what's called a peace song. Let there be peace. Let there be peace within me, and let there be peace with me. And the excuse me, let there be peace on earth. I couldn't think of it for some reason. I'm not going to try to sing that song, and I'm not going to put anybody on the spot to sing that song. We'll wait till we have a musician, and it'll work out better for everyone. But what I want to do is close with the prayer for protection. If you know that, please join me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And so it is. Thank you for joining. If you're on Zoom, stay with us, but we're going to end